I wanted to talk about this Control AI poll. So I'm nothing if not balanced. I try to be when I talk about AI. Obviously, I'm very pro AI. Otherwise, I wouldn't be doing these kind of shows. I think it's exciting. One of the most exciting technologies I've ever seen. But it's useful to step outside of our bubble sometime and see what is going on and what the general public think, see what other people think. Like right now we have hunger strikes. The Anthropic hunger strike, I think, is on the 5th or the 6th day. So pretty rough for that guy. And I think the one at Google DeepMind, I think he's on his 5th day. So there are people out there who are not as excited about this technology. And it's important to understand why and to see where people are coming from. So there's this new study. So Control AI, I don't really know who. It's a UK based group. There's Pause AI, there's Control AI, there's a whole bunch of kind of anti-groups. So Control AI did a survey, and they did it specifically. They didn't do it just with their members because that would be not very helpful because they wouldn't be very pro AI, let's put it that way. But they did it with, here we go, YouGov. Actually, no, I think they're just covering a YouGov poll. So all figures, unless stated otherwise, are from YouGov PLC. Sample size 2,344 adults. It's okay. It's not the worst. Sometimes you see studies and it's like, we asked 22 people. It's like, that's not going to work. I'd rather this was hundreds of thousands, but 2,000 is okay. Fieldwork was undertaken between the 16th and 17th of January. Surveys were carried out online. The figures have been weighted and are representative of all adults, UK adults. Okay, so survey was carried out online. I'd really want to know where that was pushed. They don't actually tell us, which is a little bit worrying, but still, let's have a look at it and let's in good faith assume that this is statistically valid. That's always a question though. So our latest poll in partnership with YouGov found that British citizens overwhelmingly favour halting the quick development of superintelligence, 73%, particularly through empowering the Artificial Intelligence Safety Institute as a regulator, 74% supporting. Specific interventions championed by Control AI that found widespread support include a licensing regime, 71% supporting, a safety regime for AI development, 87% supporting, and monitoring large compute clusters, 76% supporting. Okay, right out of the gate here, I am surprised that if they went to the general British public, that people know what superintelligence is or know what large compute clusters are. Okay, this would be my first concern here, where if you go out into the street and say, hey, what do you think about superintelligence? Are you for or against it? Most people are going to be like, oh, that sounds a bit scary. No, I'm not for that. But or just have no idea what you're talking about. So the word AI is known, but when we start talking about artificial narrow intelligence, artificial general intelligence, artificial superintelligence, which is pretty sci-fi, ASI is massively in the future. Most people in the street, most people you ask with these kind of surveys won't have a firm grasp of what that is. So let's see how they actually do the questions. Let's have a look. Here's the ASI one. Generally speaking, would you support or oppose prohibiting the development of superintelligence, smarter than human? They've put in brackets to help us know what superintelligence is, artificial intelligence AI systems. So generally speaking, would you support or oppose prohibiting, the development of superintelligent artificial intelligence? 60% support, 21% said they don't know, and 19% oppose. So I would say the wording of this question and throwing in that smarter than human would skew this answer somewhat. Because if you've never heard of superintelligence and one of the first questions someone says, would you support or oppose prohibiting the development of superintelligent artificial intelligent AI systems? The sensible thing to say, if you've never heard of this, if you don't know what they're talking about, is, ooh, yeah, that sounds scary. I'm going to support prohibiting the development of it because it sounds scary. Entirely fair. So 60% have said that they would support prohibiting the development of superintelligence. Gosh, that's a mouthful. Would you prohibit the development of artificial intelligent systems that can make themselves or other systems more intelligent? 63% support. Again, we don't have that yet. Also, this is very loosey-goosey language with intelligent. Should support technology companies be should technology companies be required to submit their most powerful AI models to the UK AI Safety Institute for safety testing? 82% said yes. So I have some qualms with the way these questions are being asked. I have some questions about who they're asking. Because if they are asking from the Control AI website, come on, I'm going to give them benefit of the doubt and assume that they are not, and that this is a representative sample. But even I think that the questions are a little bit leading. But even if they're leading, even if these numbers are a little bit smudged upwards towards anti-AI, we should not dismiss the fear that is out there, because people are scared of this technology. We talked about this in the live yesterday, actually, about somebody asked, oh gosh, we started talking about the Luddites, basically. Every time there is a new technology, there is fear, there is protest, people will push back. I actually saw a newspaper article which was protesting the introduction of calculators. So teachers protested and went on strike to protest the calculators being introduced into schools. This is very normal. Every time we have a new technology, humanity basically freaks out. And then a couple of years later, it becomes the norm and we get on with our lives. But this kind of pushback is very standard. And when you say things like, would you prohibit the development of superintelligent, smarter than human AIs? Of course, people are going to say, yes, I support prohibiting that, because it sounds terrifying and people are thinking about Terminator. Anyway, I thought it's worth looking at. Have a look at Control AI. There's Control AI and Pause AI. I think it's an important discussion to have. What I have noticed is that these groups are not very popular. They have not picked up a huge amount of popular support. The hunger strike from the Google hunger strike, I noticed that the first tweet about the hunger strike picked up 1 million views. So that made the news. The second tweet, so day 2 of the hunger strike, was down to 20,000. No, sorry, let me pull it up. Hunger strike. I think his name's Michael Trazzi. Yeah, found him. Let's have a look. So his first tweet got 1.4 million views. That's big. That's a huge amount of public interest. Second got 27,000, so it dropped off. Third got 8,000, and then day 4 is at 4,000. So it very quickly left the public consciousness or people caring about it, at least on Twitter. And when you look at something like Pause AI, the organization, which is on Twitter, they just don't have that many followers, really. They have 4,000 followers. Let's look at Control AI. Maybe they're not on Twitter. Control AI has 16,000, which is better. But yes, I'm not sure how well these groups are controlling the narrative here. It feels like they're sticking a finger in a dam and they're about to get flushed out. But that's me. Obviously, I'm very biased. I'm positive on artificial intelligence, but I commend their effort. Absolutely. Cool.